Kim and Heron searching the West Wing, but I can't think of why he'd take it upon himself to go down there.
I saw Gary up on the hill. Cassie apparently asked him to help.
Well, that's good. But where else?
Clint, what about the old potting shed I used to hide there when I was a little girl?
Well, check that out. I'll go down to the stable. There's a lot of nooks and crannies around there.
Oh, Clint, do you think he's run away?
No, sweetheart. I don't think he's run away.
Well, I wish I could be sure. I also wish I hadn't paid so much attention to my own problems and paid a bit more attention to him.
Oh, wait a minute. What about me? Isn't he my responsibility, too? I'll tell you what, we'll worry about it and feel guilty about it later, together, right after we find it.
What is it, Cassie? What?
I just talked to the guard at the gate, and he said there's no way that Kevin could have gotten off the property without anyone having seen him.
So where is he? Go ahead. Hello, cowboy. What are you doing? Were you running away? You sure gave us a scare. I guess maybe you were trying to tell us that we weren't paying enough attention to you, huh?
Did you ever run away?
Couple of times. Of course, the second time I never went back. But that first time, whew, I'll tell you what. My pa was so mad, I just knew I was going to get me a whipping. You know, it was funny the way it turned out. That big old bear was so happy to have me back home safe and sound, he forgot all about any whipping. And he told the cook, he said, he fixed me and this young man a couple of big plates of anything he wants to eat, and I'm going to tuck him into bed. You hungry? I'll bet you will be when you wake up a little more. You know, you got a whole bunch of people out there looking for you. I mean, a bunch. Cassie and Gary and the guards from the front gate. Hey, you know what? We had better go find your mama. Stop worrying about you or she is going to have mine, huh?
Mommy!
Oh, Well, Kevin's all right now. He just needed a little reassurance that somebody knew he was alive. I just feel so terrible that he had to run away and hide in order to get that reassurance. Thank you. You know, when I came in here before and I saw you two together...
What'd you think?
I was thinking how important you are to this family. And how close we came to letting it all be torn apart.
Vicky.
No, I think you better let me say this. I know that at times I must have seemed very unbending during the past few weeks, and I expect I seem to be passing judgment on you.
You had every right to.
No, I didn't. No one has a right to do that. We're all fallible, and we simply have to accept each other the way we are, past and present, and go on from there, or else there is no relationship. And it's not up to me to forgive anything either.
You mean man proposes and God disposes?
Something like that.
Well, am I allowed to at least feel a little guilty?
Oh, no guilt never hurt anybody.
Sweetheart, you're being... We're trying to be very lighthearted about this to make me feel better, and I love you for that. But how long do you think it'll take?
For what?
For the hurt to go away?
I don't know. You'll just have to give me time. I suppose some women could just shake it off, but I can't do that.
But you're not most women. And I thank God for that, too. You take as long as you want. Oh, Clint's not going anyplace.
Promise?
You bet on it.
Saying that Deborah Van Druten has persuaded Asa to drop the breaking and entering charges against Giles Morgan?
That's right. How did you manage that, Paul?
Well, if I can take a little credit myself, I just suggested a quid pro quo to her. That is, if the charges against Giles were dropped, then perhaps he could be persuaded to testify as to Echo's validity of her testimony.
But they're not going to be prosecuted?
Well, I suggested that since what they had done wasn't any lasting harm, and since they had promised to leave town...
I almost forgot this. Echo asked me to give you this.
Well, I guess she hasn't given up after all.
Well, maybe not, but as far as I'm concerned... I would say, Counselor, that's about wrapping it up, don't you?
Yes, I agree with you. Well, I want to thank you for dinner, and for drinks, and for coffee, and brandy, and all the hospitality, ma chatelaine.
Paul, as usual, it is our pleasure.
And the next time you call, you have got to promise me that we're going to have a nice, quiet dinner without either one of you worrying about going to jail.
We'll do our darndest. What can I say?
Well, I'm off.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'll be right
Thanks
back,
again.
Hank.
Come on now.
Aren't you even the slightest bit curious?
Not a bit.
In your place, I certainly would be.
Really?
Mm.
Honey, she couldn't say or do anything that would change my feelings. Prime rib tasted so good.
I agree with you, but I think it's probably because neither one of us, for a long time, has had much of an appetite.
That's all changed now, though, hasn't it?
Somehow I don't think they're going to get a divorce, do you?
The dinner drink.
Would you believe we still have some of my father's very, very fine cognac?
Oh,
But I think that tonight we deserve it. Even you, Marco.
Here, here. Even me.
Marco, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your going to Missouri for me. If anyone could handle it, you could.
Well, it was nice to get a little exotic holiday. You know, I might like to look for a job somewhere where I can just suddenly up and go to exotic, faraway places like that.
Marco, Antonia, Missouri is hardly exotic.
Yeah, but a Contessa with amnesia. I mean, how many of them can there be? How many of them do you think are out there lurking around in small towns trying to figure out how they got there?
I think maybe you should open a detective agency.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Dane Investigations. Yeah, I'd give
You
that.
would have to say that,
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
you?
could be very good. I could specialize in contesses. I wonder what Ed Hall would think about that.
He would probably run you out of town on a rail.
Why don't we sit down?
I guess maybe it isn't a real great
No,
idea.
it's not a great idea. Besides, real-life detectives are very dull. You know, they trace license plate, listen to phone taps. It's not romantic, and you would hate it a lot. Besides, you have dream faces.
Yes. What about that?
I have a very particular problem with dream faces right now. It's extremely successful.
What?
Extremely successful. Look at this. See it, girl?
Yeah?
She works for me. Oh, page 68.
Oh.
Here. It's another one of my girls. They're all over in here. You can find them all over the place.
Crazy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've seen two of those ladies in ads in the Banner.
Ah, some people look in the Banner for charts and tables, stocks. Me, I look at the ads. It's getting to be quite routine. Tell you what, though, I got my mind on some bigger and better things lately.
Oh? What is it this time? Another movie?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. No, I don't like the idea of 2 hours of celluloid having to do with the rest of your entire life. No, never again.
Well, whatever it is, I know it'll be big. Now, may I make a toast?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
To real friends. I don't know where I'd be without you all.
I like
Fine.
Anyhow, as I was saying, if it weren't for my experiences as a doctor, as a director, as a videotape bootlegger, undercover operative for the police,
Wait a
those
minute,
various things.
you've done all those things?
Oh, yeah, that and many others.
David, you are the perfect fella to settle this for us. Marco and I have been trying to prove each other wrong for about 20 minutes now.
About what?
Multiple careers.
Yeah, we seem to have a very grave difference of opinion here. Clint thinks that to excel at something, you have to stick to it your entire life. One job.
Practice makes perfect. You probably heard that before.
Far too often, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but my point is that to get something, endless repetition of something, and you'll excuse the analogy here, but even the most beautiful music has got to numb the senses somewhat, right? Now, take your average office worker. Your average office worker...
that my husband's senses are numbed.
No, I'm speaking hypothetically, please.
Marco, it just does not wash. Now, I have been a journalist most of my life, and I'll tell you, it has never been boring. A little more like living on the cutting edge of world events.
While sitting in your office. Now, if you had gone out and actually taken some of these other jobs, just imagine all the directions, all the different changes in your life that
You
would
could
have
have
happened.
done without some of the directions that you took. I mean, I know I could have.
Okay, I ran into a couple of dead ends here. That was just short-sightedness on my part. You know, if I'd have seen ahead a little bit, taken some evasive action, things might have worked out differently. David, how do you feel about this?
Well, evasive action is not something that pops up too often in my daily life.
Yes, but what do you think about Marco?
Your friend's composition, thanks to
No, well, I'm afraid the orchestration is a little...
Hello? No, that's fine, Briggs. What is it?
There?
It's a what?
Yes, I was on my third draft. That's exactly. I'm trying to figure out the answer to that when you called.
No, of course you're going to have to run it, but...
He's a friend, and I...
Yeah, listen, check back with me. I want to take a look at the television set.
Yeah, I felt like I was...
Yeah? Okay. Thanks, Briggs.
What is it, sweetheart?
Ace just fired Joe Barton, the Cougar football coach, and he was down there on the field pretending that if he blows his stack loud enough, no one will realize that he doesn't know a doggone thing about coaching a football team.
Oh.
Will you excuse me? I want to catch it on TV.
Oh, I want to go too. This is one game I wouldn't want to miss. Excuse me.
Must have been something we said. David, feel free. You're perfectly welcome to go and join them if you like.
No thanks. Football is not my thing.
No, mine neither.
Well, if you two will excuse me for 1 second, I am going to take this opportunity to go and see if my children are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is sleeping. I'll be right back.
Now, your friend...
You don't know? David.
Would you please excuse me? That was one of my students, and they dropped off some music that I'd left at the rehearsal hall, and it's very important stuff, and I got to get to it tonight. I'm very sorry.
Well, I'm sorry you have to leave. I'm glad you came over, even though it was for just a short time.
Yes, so am I. I apologize for... And it was a pleasure.
Well, it was short, but it was lovely.
Very. Well, if you'll excuse me.
Yes, good night. Good night.
Good night. Oh, would you please thank Clint for me and say
Yes,
good night to Mark?
of course I will. Thanks again for coming by.
All right.
Good night. I think he was awfully flustered. Yeah, he really was, wasn't he? Very strange. He usually only behaves that way when he's around Dorian.
Isn't it strange that Dorian hasn't come back from her little resort retreat that she went to?
Oh, please. She must be having to face all sorts of conflicting emotions now that we find out how inaccurate her testimony really was.
Yeah.
You know, Edwina, this is absolutely none of my business, and I shouldn't be saying one word about it, but I think you have to think twice before thinking about replacing Pat at WVLE. You would end up so beholden to Dorian, and you don't want to be in that position.
Trust me, if I take it, I won't let that happen.
Good.
Let's go see if Ace is really making a fool of himself.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It'll be like a never-ending instant replay. Drive carefully. Thanks again for coming.
How could Asa have done this? Our name was just starting to move off the front pages of all the newspapers, and he has to go make a fool of himself in front of millions of Americans. I'm telling you, honey, it makes me so doggone mad. I feel like going over to his place and telling him off good.
Well, I think we've had enough tensions and tribulations to last us a lifetime. So I hereby give notice that we are not making any comments, all right?
Agreed. And just for the record, I adore you.
You know, it would be nice.
What?
If we could take all the phones off the hook and leave the newspapers on the porch and pull the shades, lock the doors, and just concentrate on each other and on the children for a while.
Sounds good to me. Just one thing left to do.
What's that?
I love you so much. Wait a minute, don't turn away from me. I can't look into your eyes. If I can't look into your eyes, then I can't see what they're saying.
Well, what do you see there now?
That, we have a chance to start over again.
I think we do.
I love you and the boys more than I value my own life. I don't ever want to lose you again.
And I hope you don't. Because I do love you.